get a spicy sign in? Yes, we can. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's so funny. Oh, I'm sorry, everyone. Right? Well, that's cool, okay? You can kind of mark out individual areas with signage like that. That's something that I wish was in cities, being able to manually place signs in the game. Hello people, and welcome to InfraSpace. Hope you're all having a wonderful day. I've been given early access to this game, so we're going to go ahead and check it out together. Very much in the vein that we did the City State 2, to kind of explore the start of the game, see what we think of it. And if you guys do want to see more videos on this, or indeed live streams, do let me know down in the comments. And equally as much if you don't want to see more of it, then do let me know as well. But we'll try this out together today and see what we think. The game is out today, which when you guys will be watching this video is the 15th. This has been recorded on the 14th. And there is a link down to the Steam page below in the description if you want to go ahead and pick this game up after you've checked out the video. So let's get started, shall we? We'll come for a new game. So we have game difficulty and transport difficulty settings. We'll leave them on medium for right now. And let's start up. So we'll leave our tutorial on just so you guys can kind of see how it plays. And okay, yeah, cool. So we got a little construction menu along the bottom here. And WASD, the usual camera controls. All very familiar at this point. And we're greeted with quite an open and empty map. There's little ore deposits around here as well. We kind of get a little tooltip we hover over in. There's aluminium, iron, sulfur and copper. There's uranium around here as well somewhere. I think I've seen it before. So yeah, there's a couple little mineral ore deposits knocking around the map. This one looks like it might be a little bit difficult to reach, but we'll kind of see, right? But there's a fairly expansive space to play with when we first start out here. But either way, let's get joining some roads. So we'll get started by placing in our first roads, and there's 4 different options available. We have 1, 2, 3 and 4 tabs. And these are corresponding to super highways, regular highways, concrete roads of varying different lanes by the looks of it, and then some gravel roads to start out with. One looks exactly the same, just looks like a one-way maybe, has arrows on it, so possibly one-way gravel road. And then there's replace road, snap road angle, snap road length, and build a curved road tools in here as well. So let's start building, shall we? Let's just draw in a road. It's working on a little click and drag system here. And it doesn't look as though there's no monetary cost to kind of place in the infrastructure here. We have resources down here, which is concrete, steel and power. And underneath these we have population, jobs and housing. But there seems to be no currency, which is quite interesting. A little bit refreshing as well, not to have to worry about the money. So it wants us to build a sulfur mine. So under here we have kind of small drills and then there's large ones over here. And these are all corresponding to the resources that are around the map. So first thing we want to do is build a sulfur mine. So also we have a sulfur deposit here, so it's going to be a sensible place to build it in. Let's come ahead and draw this up. Okay, and we'll draw a little box around our sulfur deposit, okay? Looks like it's not quite happy with itself. Let's try that again. There we go. Road tool is a little finicky with the way it interacts, but nothing too serious. So let's go into those small mines, we'll grab a sulfur mine, and we'll pop this down here. This is going to cost us 100 concrete to build. So let's go for 2. Okay, let's get a little look at these assets as well while we're here. Kind of cute. Looks like it has the logo of the resource onto the drill, which is quite handy. And next up, we want to build a sand mine, so I guess we'll do that as well, right? This looks like there's a little bit of sand free over here, so we'll place a couple of sand mines next to each other. Then we have some city info down here. Yeah, this is just what we covered. So it gives a quick overview of the city. Top rows show all our resources. Need both materials of steel and concrete to build. Third icon is representative of the power available. And then the bottom row shows how many people live in the city, how many workers are needed, and how much housing is available. Very nice. Okay, so we're getting a little power icon here. Obviously they're not powered yet because we have no power. The next thing we want to build is a concrete factory, so we'll come into the factories tab here. So the concrete is here, but there's also a steel mill, home appliances, computer factory, home robot factory, industrial robot, high-tech workshop, VR edutainment factory, an iridium propellant factory, and an AI control unit factory as well. So lots of things to get involved with in here. So it wants a concrete factory. This is obviously going to help us to produce concrete, which is one of our key building resources, of course. Well, so why don't we bring this out onto another road here rather than placing it on this one. So we'll come in for this and we'll place it on the corner right here. It's a very pretty looking game. It's quite fun to look at. Place that there. It doesn't look like it accounts much for terraforming. It is on a little bit of a slope, which could be quite dangerous, but we won't read too much into that, right? So look at our power options. We have power substation, solar power plants, nuclear plant, and a fast neutron reactor. But for the time being, we can only build wind turbines, which looks like we can place them away from a road. They will snap to a road, but we can place them away. So that's interesting. So why don't we set up a little wind area somewhere, right? A little wind farm. And interesting enough, when we place these, if you notice that as we move further and further away from the radius, the efficiency increases, which I guess makes sense. You kind of see how that just decreases the further we come into the radius. So that's something to bear in mind if we're going to be using wind power as well. And then let's use some power poles to connect all the buildings in. So again, it's just a real simple click and drag system, and these power lines have a radius on them as well that will power the buildings within that radius. So we'll bring it over to the sulfur mine here as well. So it looks like, yeah, he's craving sulfur now, so we should hopefully see. Yeah, so our sulfur mine will now deliver resources to the concrete factory. That's good. And that was just to build mineral storage. So we come into here. We have a mineral storage available here, alongside a spaceport, a recycling centre, and some soil enrichment facilities. So we can create some signs here as well, which is really cool. I don't have the resources to pay for it in a minute, but kind of cool that we can build signs, right? Hopefully we can customize those. Yeah, we can. Got a little text sign here as well. So that's kind of cool. Okay, so we'll build the mineral storage. And again, we'll place this on another road here because we don't want that building to break the power lines. So we'll just start expanding our road network to accommodate these new buildings. Okay, place that there. So this is our construction mineral storage. It's nice that the assets are actually animated inside as well. That's quite cool. Although the trucks do just drive through the wall, which is I guess an early access feature, right? I'm guessing that's not final, but we'll see. We'll kind of see. Okay, so now I want some life support, so we'll build a basic habitat so we can come into what is essentially residential here, right? And at the minute, we only have a basic habitat available, which looks as though it's going to house 8 people, I think that's going to be referring to. So if we're having quite a lot of our industry over here, let's establish a new road system off of this main spine to start bringing in some habitats, and we can maybe make a little bit of a residential design over here, okay? So we'll grab basic habitat. I think we'll place 2 of these down. So these are going to function as our residential spaces for our space sims to live, I guess, right? But again, they're whinging of not enough power, so we'll come back in. And we'll connect another little line here. And I guess it's going to be sensible now to run this parallel with the road. Oh, that one looks like it's intercepting with the road a little bit. We also have this tool down here, which is essentially move it by the looks of it. It even has like the little move it icon as well. So does this work for kind of most nodes? Yeah, okay. So we have a move it function in the game. Obviously referring to city skylines. So that's quite handy. You know, you can kind of manipulate the nodes here with move it. I'm already calling it move it. I'm sure it's not called that, but we'll see. Okay. So these guys, they have no oxygen and no survival food, and their needs are not met. So we need to provide these things in order to get people to move in. Very nice. So we now want to build an atmosphere processor, which is going to be producing oxygen and carbon by the looks of it. So again, as this is kind of a new facility, we'll provide perhaps another little unique road network to accommodate these atmosphere processors in. I'm already wanting to call them atmospheric processors, not sure why. Okay, so we'll place that there. And then this is going to be producing oxygen and carbon, which is good. Which should hopefully meet the needs of these folks over here as well. But first of all, we want to build a spaceport, which is this building we looked at earlier. And again, it seems quite an important asset, doesn't it? So why don't we give it a little bit more of a dedicated kind of space to lie, okay? Let's create a little T-junction at the head here, and then we'll come in with spaceport. And we can't quite get that aligned, although can we with the move it tool? We snap to road. Yeah, it does want to. You can kind of see how it's behaving. So we can draw it away. But yeah, okay, let's just snap it to road then. And then we'll place it in there. Okay, so that's going to be a little spaceport here. But our atmosphere processor also wants some power too, so we'll continue to expand the power lines. And again, this asset is going to be animated as well. So we'll see how it comes in here, okay? Yeah, see now it's storing it because this is so it produces it every 16 seconds and then it's gonna store here. It's kind of how we're reading these, and I'm guessing kind of the sulfur mines is going to perform the same as well. This one has full storage, which I'm guessing I'm going to be storing it in here now instead. Okay, oh, it looks like we have a ship at the spaceport. Let's go ahead and check this out. So we have 10 immigrants ready to move in. The immigration rate is high. And now we can upgrade your habitats to make the city attractive to newcomers. Okay, very interesting. So he has oxygen now. And this one is still waiting for a delivery of oxygen, I guess. Is that how it works? Let's see where this guy's going. Looks like he's going to come and deliver some oxygen, maybe. Yes, please. There we go. Oxygen has been delivered. So we now want to reach a population of 22 people. So I think we'll start coming in and placing some more habitats here, okay? Start introducing a little bit of a residential area. And I just so happen to measure that absolutely perfectly. That's wonderful. So we'll bring them in here again as well, and then maybe let's start getting in a little back-to-back habitats here. There are only 10 concrete per one, so we'll allow this to grow out as a little bit of a residential area. So it looks like these guys aren't getting power, so the power won't sink through buildings as it does in city skylines. They do have to be within the radius of these power poles. So that's something to kind of bear in mind as we expand the city, right? These power poles won't ever go away. They do need to be constantly connected. So we'll take a look at one of the sims coming down here now. I do like the cars. They're kind of these little hover things rather than little wheels. That's quite cool. Okay, but I guess now it's just a case of hanging around waiting to hit 22 people. So we'll be back once we hit 22. And there we go. That was literally immediately after the cut that we hit 22 people. Okay, so next thing I was building a research lab. So we have some research buildings here, which is a blue science pack, a green science pack, yellow and red science pack as well, and a research lab. So why don't we place this over here next to our mineral storage, okay? And then it wants us to build the blue science pack as well. So it looks like this is going to want some kind of blue resource and carbon. So we'll place this next door. Okay, yeah, so he doesn't have iron ore. So do we have an iron drill? Yes, we do. We have an iron mine. So let's go ahead and find a pocket of iron somewhere. There's one over here, so that's fine. Let's go ahead and grab an extension of this road. And we can possibly prepare to start mining out this sulfur deposit here as well. So we'll prepare that to come in. Don't want to use too much concrete here if possible. Okay, so let's grab the iron mine. Place this down here. Okay, so that should provide us with some iron, but again, these little mines will want some power to come out as well, so we'll carry on bringing it up. Just keep it running parallel with the roads. Although I am swiftly running out of concrete here. I guess because I'm building quite long distances, right? So Maybe don't be building this longer distance. We are eating through our concrete. So I guess it's kind of concrete and steel that's functioning as the currency, isn't it? There's no actual money, but you're paying everything in resources. But this is fine. I'm going to start mining out this iron ore. It doesn't look as though the ores ever deplete. There's no kind of marker to indicate that they will kind of deteriorate over time. They just seem to be forever mining, which is helpful, I guess. Okay, so the blue science pack factory is going to want carbon and 2 iron ore to produce a blue science pack. And then if we come into our research here, so there's a significant technology tree in this game that moves across a whole, I guess these are our milestones, right? So we're currently in outpost, we will move to settlement, small town, large town, city, and planetary capital eventually. And all of these techs, they want these little science packs to research them. So the minute we have blue science pack, so we can start researching farming, and then the other ones, they're going to want the green ones, and as they get higher up, they're going to want yellow and, you know, red and green appear down here as well. So it looks as though the science packs that are produced by these buildings here, they're going to be used towards our technology tree. So hopefully once we get a iron ore delivery down here, this will start producing some blue science packs, and then that will allow us to research farming. There is some rules here. We can lock the road. Not entirely sure what this is referring to, but hopefully that'll be explained to us. There we go. So we're producing blue science packs now, which you can now see is ticking off our farming research, which is very helpful. So we'll gradually research farming here together. So the research has been completed, and we can now unlock and build the simple farm, which is going to fall under these buildings here, where our atmosphere processor was. And we also have a fertilizer factory, a vegetable farm, a meat lab, and a meal factory as well, all of which are requiring different resources. So let's grab our simple farm. And again, it would be good to have maybe a little separate road network here as well to construct all our farmland around. So we'll maybe bring this out somewhere over here, maybe up and next to where the processor was. This road is not parallel. That's going to really irritate me. We have to fix that. Okay, so let's come onto our road again. Yeah, and we'll snap to the 90-degree angle. That's going to be nice and sensible, and hopefully we can just relocate this one now. Yeah, there we go. That's fine. So we'll grab some simple farms. And we'll have these facing our kind of main road here. Let's place 3 of them down. And then we don't just satisfy the needs of the habitats until they upgrade automatically. So it looks like once they hit their full bar, I guess, with food and oxygen. Yeah, habitat is full, fulfill the additional needs to upgrade. So even though there's only one option here, it looks like these will grow up by themselves over time. And it looks as though we've hit power capacity now. So we'll bring in some more wind farms. Again, making sure we place them at 100% efficiency. And then we can just draw that in there, hopefully. Yeah, that's going to push us up to 40. Which is more than we need, which is nice. We also have some tabs over here on the left side of the screen, where it looks like we can paint in districts. So drag the mouse cursor between the districts to create an export rule. Districts without export rules can export goods anywhere. And then it's kind of highlighting all the resources that are available to us. So there's iridium, uranium, all our ores, carbon, nanotubes, motors, electronics. There's a lot of stuff, a lot of resources to manage in the game. So it'll be interesting to see how we kind of get all these, like iridium alloys, hollow displays. There's iridium propellant there as well. Meat too. So we can paint out these districts to only allow certain resources to pass through, is how I'm understanding this. Okay, let's have a look at city levels as well. Let's come into this one. Okay, so your city will be promoted to a small town once we have at least 300 level 3 citizens. Oh, and our habitats are upgraded now as well. Okay, that's handy. So it even shows the level of the habitat as it upgrades on the side of the building. So these are level 1s, and now these are moving to level 2. That's quite handy. We have another research to complete. So let's have a look at this. So we're producing blue science packs. So if we want a one-way road, we're going to need to start producing green science packs. So let's have a look at those. And to get green science packs, we need electronics, blue science packs, and sulfur. So we've completed that research. We now have the copper mine and the electronics factory available to us. Okay, so this will produce electronics for us, which is what the green science pack factory wanted, wasn't it? Okay, so let's place an electronics factory which wants iron and, is that copper, I'm guessing? It's this one here, isn't it? Yeah, it is copper ore. Okay. So we'll place that down. And we'll now need to find a copper deposit somewhere. So let's go and see if we can find one knocking about. There's one over here. Is that the closest one? It's a little far away. But there's a ton of copper over here as well. So let's do that then. Let's bring in some roads. We don't have any of these roads unlocked yet, so not entirely sure when we get them. I'm assuming they come with the milestones. Why don't we build a curved road here? I can kind of see with the power cables it's going to make sense to constantly keep them aligned with the roads, because the power doesn't jump through different assets, only within the pole's radius. Okay, so that's going to produce copper for us. And then he's also whinging for some iron ore as well. So let's pop our game on 2 speed. Which will allow us to produce this next one here. So let's have a look at the research tree again. So now we've done electronics, we have green science, which unlocks the green science pack factory. So we definitely want that because this allows us to then move down one-way roads. Okay, the roads are unlocked via research. Okay, that makes sense. Oh yeah, okay, so we researched the different roads. So the green science will unlock the green science pack factory, which then we can use to get one-way roads, and you know, it's all just kind of continually flowing and complementing the other. It's actually quite a fun system to work with. I kind of like how they've used the resources and whatnot to manage all this. Looks like we've got a ton of trucks coming down here to supply the electronics factory. Very good. So from what I gathered from this game, there's quite an emphasis on traffic and resource management more than anything else. And I'm guessing with the way we have kind of super highways and one-way systems in, the traffic will become a problem at some point. Have a little look at our junctions. It doesn't seem to be an issue at the minute, but we are still fairly small, so that is, of course, subject to change. Okay, yeah, so this guy's just waiting on delivery of copper, which should hopefully be on its way. Looks like these are delivering copper. I think the trucks are colour-coded, aren't they, which is quite helpful. Yeah, the iron trucks are blue, and the copper trucks are copper, funnily enough. So that's quite a nice, helpful visual. You can't actually click on the vehicles driving around. Oh, but we do have... Okay, so we can change the lanes here. Change the lane directions. So we can make it so there's kind of no right turn. Yeah, this is very much the lane directions from Traffic Manager, isn't it? I think the devs have been watching some modded city skylines. I think they have, right? There's a move it tool, there's some traffic management stuff here. It's nice to see this in a base game though. It's only a 3-man development team as well, so the fact that they've kind of maybe listened to the outcry of some previous simulators and seen that, you know, these are tools that are really helpful to have in the base game. That's very cool. So props to the devs for that one. That's very nice. So yeah, really now I want to pop the green science factory, which we're just waiting for our green science to take over. We have 80 population, 80 housing available, so now feels like a good point to continually expand our little residential district that's growing up out here. So we'll keep the same pattern coming in. There we go, that's what we want. And then use our concrete to bring in some more habitats, which will of course want O2. So we can probably do with another atmosphere processor now. Let's bring that in as well, if I can remember where it is. There we go, yeah, okay. Let's place in another one of these, which will want steel and concrete. So we now have 128 housing available and 80 population. So we'll hang around and wait for our green science to finish researching, and then we can pop the green science pack facility down, which will allow us to start researching other technologies. So in terms of how the game plays, it's all very much use one resource to supply another, and then that resource unlocks a new technology, and so on and so forth. So I think having the technology tree gives the game quite a good sense of progression. So if that's something that you look for in a game, you'll probably enjoy this. I'm enjoying it, it's really good, and I'll be totally honest, I hadn't even heard of it until the email came in for early access, but it's a really fun game. It's really fun, and it's nice to look at as well. So we also have some visualization tools here as well, where we can look at building occupancy, power production, wind turbines, soil enrichment facilities, recycling centers, buildings with the high-tech tools, buildings with industrial robots. So some handy overlays that can help manage the city as well. Cool, so we can now unlock the green science pack factory. Let's go ahead and place this down next to the blue one. Okay, so let's see what he wants. Yeah, so he wants electronics. So we're going to need the electronics factory, which is these green cars now, I'm guessing. There's a lot of cars here, which do back up by the looks of it. So he's getting totally supplied. So you can kind of see, I think one-way systems are going to be really important to managing industrial traffic in this game. Very similar to how it is in Cities Skylines, right? You know, we always want one-way systems, kind of immediate highway access, etc. Okay, so we now select a research, and we should be producing green science packs now, which pops up the option to unlock one-way roads using blue and green science pack resources. So very handy. We also have some other buildings here as well, as school, stadium and a park. Kind of seems a little bit empty. Maybe do some more buildings here. Maybe do some actual parkland, but I realise we are in space here. So it's kind of hard to break out of that city's mindset, right? Okay, but everyone seems to be happy. Our houses are leveling up. Do we have any level 3s yet? No, they're all just kind of growing up. I hope they kind of, maybe we get a bit more verticality as they move through their levels. It would be nice to kind of have a bit more height in the city. Okay, yeah, so now their additional need is home appliances, and there's a factory for home appliances, isn't there? Yeah, this one here. So it wants electronics and iron ore, and it will produce home appliances. When do we unlock that? Right there, with the home appliances research. That gives us that factory as well. Okay, so you can kind of see how this plays, right? It's all just kind of using one resource to complement the other. One thing I do want to build before we finish up is one of the signs right here. So we can use E and Q to rotate them around. We can change the font size as well. Jesus, huge. Okay, so we want 50 steel to build them. Do we have steel mill? This is one of the researchers, isn't it? Yeah, steel production. Okay, let's start researching some steel production then. And we can hopefully get in the steel mill, which will allow us to build a sign. So our little green science friend here keeps running low on blue science packs. I wonder if that's because we're using them up for research to get steel production. Possibly. So why don't we see if we can build another snap to that road length as well. Just kind of box in all these assets around the back if we can. And then we'll grab another blue science factory as well. Cool, so we can now build the steel mill, which is a fairly chungus asset, isn't it? We'll place this up here as well. So that should increase our steel production. We're also out of power again as well, so it's like we're going to need another wind turbine. We'll place this hopefully here. Try and get it to 100. There we go. And then can we link into other power networks here? Yes, we can. That's handy. That's going to give us the power that we need. Tells us well not enough power in network 1, which should be fine. So he's going to want more iron ore. So I'm guessing now is going to be a good chance to move in with some further iron mines, because iron is becoming an increasingly popular resource. So we'll place in a couple more of those. So there's a lot of traffic coming down this road. It seems to be coping at the minute without much kind of larger significant road network or infrastructure knocking about. Yeah, everyone wants iron ore at the minute, don't they? That's kind of something we're running really low on. There we go. So we'll now start producing steel, which should add to our countdown here, hopefully. I think, anyway. Okay, so we finally have enough steel to build a sign. Obviously, super important. We'll see what we can do. So we can even change the font as well. That's kind of cool. I like that. And then can we change the... Can we get a spicy sign in? Yes, we can. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's so funny. Oh, I'm sorry, everyone. Right? Well, that's cool, okay? You can kind of mark out individual areas with signage like that. That's something that I wish was in cities, being able to manually place signs in the game. Obviously, there's the workshop and stuff, but really cool feature. And you can change the sign once it's been placed as well. So I guess once everything gets a little bit more kind of higher density, right, you can mark city entrances and, you know, spell out different power areas, maybe like sulfur fields or whatever. You can get creative with that, right? But I think that is going to do it for today, guys. A very fun game, and if you would like to see some more of this, some more videos, and indeed live streams, do let me know down in the comments below. Really fun. I understand this might be a bit of a cross between like Surviving Mars, Satisfactory, maybe a little bit of Factorio, and probably a touch of Cities Skylines in there as well. But there's some really cool mechanics here. I'm a huge fan that this is in the game. Kind of being able to move the road directions around that, so you can take the right turn off of this road and then move it into the cross one. So you can get into some like nice traffic management stuff in the base game, no mods required. Really interesting, very interesting game indeed. Yeah, but let me know if you want to see more, but otherwise I will shut up and leave it there. I want to thank you all so much for watching, and as always, enjoy the rest of your day.